So we're going to admit our first guest, and he has a very interesting background. Um, he is a photographer, and as I learned about his new book, I also learned that he's a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer. And
Awesome sauce.
I thought that was amazing because I didn't even realize that they gave the Pulitzer for photography. So his name is Ron Tarver, and he has a new book called The Long Ride Home, Black Cowboys in America. And I thought it was an amazing book. And so we invited him to be on the show. So thanks for being on Black Authors Matter TV.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for
Yeah.
being
So
here.
happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think you may have two people that are in the Zoom because only the people on camera are admitted to the Zoom, and everybody else has to watch it on Facebook.
Okay.
So there are two names I don't recognize. I don't know if they're connected with you, Kristen and Susan. Are either of them sound familiar? No. Anyway, okay. I didn't know because you're in this time slot, and sometimes that happens. People think that
Okay.
they share the Zoom. But anyway, welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
first, we want to see, do you have a copy of your book with you?
I do right here. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Yeah. That's
wonderful.
it.
And I
Yeah.
thought
Oh,
it's such an
wow.
eye-catching cover of the book. And
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful cover.
it
Oh,
is.
thank you. Thank you.
Is
Yeah.
who's the I think we were about to ask the same thing.
Yeah, who decided on the picture? Like who picked
Who is
that
this
picture?
young man on the picture?
Well,
Yes.
who is it, but also who decided out of all of your photographs that that would be the one?
Well, so it was a long process to select, one photo for the cover. We went through about 20,000 slides to get
Wow.
to this one. And to be honest, this wasn't my choice, but I think the more that the designer, his name's David Skulkin, he's out in Santa Fe. He's the one that laid out the book. He picked this picture, and then we asked a bunch of other people how do they feel about this picture, and everybody agreed with it. So, I mean, I've been looking at these pictures for so long. I have no objectivity anymore at all about any of these pictures. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes you need a third eye
Oh
to
yeah,
look
yeah,
at it,
yeah.
second opinion, because if it's a personal project, you can be too close to it,
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
especially with creatives and art, any kind of art.
yeah.
So now, were these photos taken over a long period of time? You said there were 40,000
Well,
slides.
there were 20,000. There were 20,000 slides taken. Now, some of those are the sky and my feet and things like that. You throw all those out, but there were probably, we probably edited about maybe 15 to 12,000. We edited from that amount, and then we just started from there. But this project started in 1993. And it's been, now I haven't shot every single year in that 30-year period. It's been, spotty here and there, but for the most part, it's been a 30-year project, either exhibiting the images or working on images, or, and now just lately I've shot video. I was down in Houston last year and made some video, some cowboys down there, which I'm hoping to put to probably Instagram or Facebook, one of the two.
Okay, Houston is where I am. That's
Oh
where
yeah,
you're based at. And I was going to ask you, my next question was that you've been to the Houston Rodeo. Were any of your pictures from that?
yeah. I didn't go to the Houston Rodeo, but I spent a lot of time in Houston and around Houston and in Texas and Beaumont, places like that. It- Nothing against rodeos. I mean, I definitely spent time in rodeos, but I wanted the photographs to be more beyond rodeos. I wanted it to be about the
Gotcha.
lifestyle and the people that live, you know, Black people that sort of live that have this Western heritage. And that's what I wanted the book to be about, more so than, I mean, I've photographed so many rodeos, I can't tell you.
So
But
this is like the everyday life of a Black cowboy.
exactly. And the Black,
Love that.
just Black people, just, I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma, and so I had relatives that had ranches, and, you know, um, there was a rodeo arena just a couple of blocks from my house, literally, you know. So, you know, I grew up, you know, riding horses, like the people that had horses right across sort of the alley from us had horses. So we would, you know, go out and ride horse. It wasn't, I didn't even think about it. You know, it wasn't anything like, it wasn't a question to me that there was a such thing as, you know, this, you know, Black experience and Western experience. But it wasn't until that the story ran in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I did a story in the Philadelphia Inquirer on Black cowboys in Philadelphia. And when that story ran, I got more letters from people saying, we didn't know that there were Black cowboys, you know.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I I was just flummoxed. I was like, you know, how can you not? I didn't even, it just really took me aback that people were so responsive that way. Not that they were negative, but
No.
they just didn't know.
Mhm.
So I asked my editors if I could go out and maybe do a thing for Black History Month. They cut me loose and I did stories for Black History Month. We did a 5-part series, and then National Geographic saw it and asked me to shoot it for them. So I shot it for them. So it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling that way, you know, and that's how I got built up so many slides.
Wow.
Mm.
That's
I'm just
amazing.
wondering how, with so many photos, how do you narrow it down to the ones who actually make the book?
It's
Because
yeah.
it just
Um,
seems like it's like choosing your favorite child because all of them have a certain beauty to them. All of them meant something to you, or else you wouldn't have taken the photos.
yeah. I mean, I could show you. I mean, I have books back here just of, you know, I went through and I so a lot of this happened during COVID, and I went through and pulled out all the pictures. I had them in a big Tupperware container in my storage unit in the little yellow boxes, you know. And so I pulled them all out and just started scanning them, just scanning, and then cataloging everything in a database, and then matching those up to the actual slides in a notebook. So, I mean, I could show you a notebook real quick. Excuse my studio. This is where I live. It's
No, no. We get to see your home where you work.
yeah, this is
But
my
you're
And
lucky
this
you can't
most
is
see all the
people,
mail behind me.
yeah.
right, most people where they work isn't necessarily pristine, you know,
Oh yeah,
it's,
no, this is far from pristine. But I say a messy studio is a happy studio, you know,
There you
because
go.
but
yeah.
so these are some of the slides. So this is just one
Oh,
book and they're all, you know, numbered.
oh, okay, wow.
So and then back there are more books. So we just started going through them and you know, to get to your question, it was really I guess I had a friend help me with it. Her name's Elizabeth Chris Chang. She was a editor at National Geographic, and she had recently retired. I asked her if she could help me with editing through everything, and so we just started going through it and making little folders on the computer, and you know, doing it that way. And we got it down to about 500, and then from there it got really tough because that's when you know
Yeah.
the old saying goes, you have to kill your darlings. That's when you really have to, you
Yeah.
know, get down to that 150. That was tricky. So, you know, and there were some pictures that I had fallen in love with and that nobody else saw a potential in for the project that we wanted to do. So I had to let some things go. But I think it turned out really well. You know, the book's not in any sort of narrative structure. It's
I was
basically
gonna ask
just
that.
it's built around just really, you know, beautiful images of this lifestyle. That's what I wanted.
And all of the photos are captioned?
No, they're not.
Oh,
They're not. They're all so if you see this, they're all, you know, they don't have any captions on them.
Okay.
So it just has the place where it is.
Okay.
So
Does it have a narrative
um
on the opposite page?
I'm sorry.
Is there a narrative on the opposite page?
No, there's no
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's what it
It's
is.
a coffee table book.
Yeah, it's a coffee table book. It's nine and a half by 11, I think.
Okay.
Um and it has, you know, just basically the place where it is.
Okay.
That's it.
And did you take pictures all over the country? Did you go outside the country? Um, which states did you
Yeah, yeah,
focus
yeah,
on?
yeah. I traveled all over the country. I went from California to Philadelphia to Pennsylvania, basically. I went to Chicago, California, Texas, Oklahoma. Um, where were some other places? A
Was
few
there a
other.
place that you went to that maybe you had no idea that there were black cowboys there and you were surprised?
Well, I mean, I went there because I knew there were, because I did my
Oh,
research. I just
Okay.
didn't fly in without any sort of, uh, you know, arrow to
of
point
course
me.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
no,
I just wonder if there was a city that may have surprised, like, wow, I didn't even think there was that community there.
yeah, oh well, yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, but a lot of it was just word of mouth. You go to a place and you start
Mhm.
asking questions and say, oh, you need to go see Betsy Bramwell in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I didn't know Betsy at all. Or you need to see David Cormier down in Beaumont, Texas. I mean, it was just that kind of thing.
Okay.
It
Hmm.
was just people just saying, oh, you need to go there and do this. You need to go there and do that. So.
So it's like the deeper you got into the project, the more you started meeting people and the more you were referred to people.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a journalist by trade. I mean, that's what I
Yeah,
do. That's what journalists do. You just sort of follow leads and go where the
Right.
lead takes you. So,
right. And it's a community that's connected, uh, but it wouldn't be connected to people who aren't within the cowboy network.
right.
So once you start talking to people, they know who's
Oh yeah.
prominent in their community.
Oh yeah. And so especially around rodeos, a lot of these guys rodeo together, whether in
Right.
Texas or Oklahoma or Kansas or wherever, they just know each other. So,
Yes. Mhm.
it's just it's almost like one big. More or less.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, people just know they just know each other.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In
And I can see
Houston,
that.
something that surprises people, I'm not from here, but I've been here many years. But like I live in a subdivision, like a fairly new development, in the last 15, 20 years. But down the street is a horse farm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not uncommon to see horses grazing next
Oh
to
yeah.
a strip mall. It's just they're
Hmm.
everywhere, and there's a vibrant just cowboy and horse culture
Oh
in
yeah.
parts of well the whole state. But even with Houston being a metropolis, there's still lots of horse
Oh
culture here.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I photographed a woman. Her name's Molly Stevenson, and she
Oh, I know
has.
Molly. I
You know,
know
Ma?
for years. I met Molly when I first went in business years ago
Oh yeah.
in my 20s. And the only time
Wow.
I've ever been on a horse was at Molly's ranch.
That's funny. Well, I mean, literally, I talked to Molly yesterday. I sent her a book. I'm trying to find her picture, but she's in here. I photographed her wedding 30 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went down to photograph her wedding. Somebody told me that, oh, you got to see Molly Stevenson's getting
Yes,
married, you know?
yes,
And
yeah.
I went down and photographed her wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Molly's,
haven't talked to her in a long time. In fact, I wasn't, she came across my mind recently and I was gonna look up and then I got distracted. But she's probably in the horse country here, she's really a phenom.
oh,
She's
yeah.
like in the Houston area, she's everybody knows Molly.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
And her
awesome.
ranch has been a fixture for
Yeah.
decades. I
Yeah.
think she inherited a ranch, if
She
I'm
did
not
well from her
mistaken.
mother, because
Right.
it's Molly Stevenson Jr. That's
Okay.
her real name. And her mother was, sort of the matriarch of the ranch down there. But
Okay.
so yeah, there's the picture of her feeding a goat.
Wow.
Wow.
I
And that
love
was
this.
that was during the wedding time when I was down there for to photograph her wedding. And then I went back last year, and now she raises Watusi cattle, which are
Oh,
just unbelievable. These cattle that have like 8-foot horns. They're Unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just that's a small world.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah.
So in your book project, how were you able to get the interest? Like, did you have any difficulty getting a publisher interested in a book
Ugh,
along these lines?
I won't even start to tell you how difficult it was to find it. So when I first started this, when I first got it in my head that I wanted to do a book, I had done a book before. I'd done a book on African American veterans that with a friend of mine. We did a book that did really well actually. It was published by HarperCollins, so it was a big commercial press. And so I thought, well, I have some street cred now. I can, go out and I can pitch this project again. When I first pitched it, I couldn't get anybody to look at it. In fact, I had one editor in New York tell me there's no such thing as black cowboys.
Wow.
And and I
Wow.
said, well, I got about
Wow.
20,000 slides that says there is, you know.
Wow.
And then when I tried it again, I started pitching it again and got the same response. One person in New York said, with a big publishing house, said that I don't think this has legs beyond the Hudson River, meaning that nobody'd be interested in this beyond the Hudson, which meant in speak and that kind of speak meant that he just didn't want to do it,
Right.
you know, and you can imagine why. So it's just it's faced a lot of negativity to the point where I just pretty much gave up after a while.
I think that that's maybe we could thank the book and then ultimately the TV show Queen Sugar, because it put more of a light on African American rural life. Everything is not urban
Hmm.
and cityfied, so to speak, that there is actually a vibrant community of African Americans who are living
Yeah.
on farms, who are tilling the land, who
Oh yeah.
are real cowboys. So
Yeah.
I think that this book kind of adds to that narrative, and it's very surprising to me that even after the popularity of Queen Sugar, that there are still people who believe that there aren't black
Oh
cowboys.
yeah. And I just think some people just don't want to see it.
Right,
I mean, if you think about like how the legend of the cowboy sort of developed in this country with John Wayne and all the Western movies and stuff like that, you didn't see black people in there. There were a
Yeah.
few there were a couple of black Westerns actually, but they weren't in the mainstream. You really have to look for them.
right,
But so the idea of the if you look on Amazon now, the two top selling photo books are cowboys, but they're cowboys like out in the plains, out in the rain, sort of that mystique of the cowboy,
Or it
right,
might be because of the
right,
popularity of Yellowstone too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
The
yeah,
show.
but
Mm, to do with
cowboys
that
have
too.
it's always been a popular subject,
Yeah.
always.
Hmm.
But I think when you throw black people in there, it kind of disrupts the apple cart a little bit, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
our legacy wasn't necessarily out there on the big plains. I mean, we were working in the stockyards and things like that. We were doing the dirty work. That's where the whole cowboy came from.
right,
And so we were out there doing the work. We weren't out, wearing the real fancy chaps and herding cattle across the plains and stuff. I mean, we were doing some hard work, you
Right.
know. And the
Mhm.
people that have these farms now, I mean, my family has a farm. My family has a farm in Quitman, Texas, and that's where my father came from. And he was not my father, but my great grandfather was a freed slave, landed in Texas, found oil on there, and started up a big farm and ranch down there. And so now we have a big family reunion every year in Quitman, Texas. And my family's really proud of that. So, but it's not like out in Wyoming with like, a ranch the size of Rhode Island. It's 400 acres that they worked.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot of acreage.
that's a lot of
Yeah.
acreage, but still, it's so, like, I guess with all that to say that, the heritage that that I feel that Black people have sort of exist in these smaller communities. And it's a really proud heritage, and we should be proud of that, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's just beautiful. I think it's just a lovely experience to be in that, I just met some of the warmest people, nicest people, genuine people doing this story.
Yeah. One thing when you were talking about trying to get interest in the book, and this has come up with other people, with other books, and just things that we've heard from authors over the years, which is unfortunate, but there are there's a lot of power among the little clique of New York publishers
Hmm.
to negate reality or to shape reality. Because I've had authors tell me editors have told them about books and mostly novels, but that their characters either weren't Black enough.
Hmm.
The people telling them that weren't Black,
Yep.
but they were telling them their characters were not Black enough, or they weren't realistic,
Hmm.
as if they know
Right.
what's real for
Hmm.
Black people.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, there's a, yeah, I'm sorry.
but I'm glad you were able to finally get the project done, and I'm sure it was just because of your persistence and the willingness to not give up.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, that if the book had come out when I wanted it to, like if I hadn't had luck when I first, tried this back in the 90s, I think I would have missed this moment, because I think we're in a particular moment now in just popular culture. When you think of everything that's out there, with from Lil Nas X to Beyonce to all the, the Bass Reeves movie, and the Concrete Cowboy movies. So I think we're in a really, the book is sort of positioned now purely by luck within the zeitgeist of popular culture, thinking about Black
Right.
Westerns.
Yeah.
So now I'm happy that it came out now. I mean, yeah, it was a long, frustrating, 25 years, but I'm really happy now that it came out when it did. So
Yeah, sometimes that timing can be very important. And also because of the social media, you you can share it with more people. Just
hmm.
the imagery, on Facebook or Instagram, um, that you will reach people that you wouldn't have been able to reach
Oh, for
in the
sure.
90s.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just really lucky. I mean, I've been posting on Instagram and posting on, Facebook, more Instagram, but just meeting people from literally from all over the world, which has been, it's fascinating. I still, I'll be sitting there playing on my phone and scrolling through and thinking, I'm actually doing work here, just playing with my phone. But,
yeah, now you have a traveling exhibition.
hmm.
And so we want to give a couple of minutes to talk about that.
Yeah,
It opens up, it debuts on Friday
Friday. Yeah, yeah.
in
We're
Norman,
gonna,
Oklahoma.
my wife and I are going to go down. Yeah. It's going to be at Norman, Oklahoma at the Depot Gallery. So that'll be the sort of the debut opening for it. And then it's going to come back to the Philadelphia area at a college, a community college in Montgomery County. And then it's going to go to Stockton University. It's going to go to the Strong Museum, or not the Strong Museum, but the um, Hudson River Museum in New York. So, and we haven't even really sort of publicized it yet. So we've already gotten like 4 different locations for it to be, without even, this is just sort of hearsay. So we're going to start sending out applications. I really want to get it into some colleges and universities, especially HBCUs, and
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Mhm.
that's kind
Especially
of the goal.
the A&T colleges, or the
Hmm.
what is it?
The technology, the
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And the
agriculture.
A&Ms, the
Yeah,
A&Ms.
A&Ms, yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we have a long list that we're going to be sending those proposals out to. So yeah, so hopefully, but I'd like to get it all over the country. We have some beautiful cases for it. A friend built for me so it can travel. And the pictures are big. They're 36 inches long. They're big images, framed
Okay.
really nicely. So
So how many photos roughly are in the exhibition?
there's 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So there's 40 yeah.
Oh,
have
so
you
well, we're
tried
gonna
the
need you to
buffalo
come to
soldier?
Baltimore and go to the Reginald F. Lewis Museum.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
Look me up.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful museum. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see what I can do. I'll make some phone calls.
I'm gonna write that down now.
Yeah, or the Buffalo Soldier Museum might be,
Mhm.
that's in Houston.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm sure that's something they will be interested in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually we have some friends down there that some contacts that we're gonna start working. I mean, we haven't literally even
You haven't scratched the surface yet?
yeah, I mean it's been it's been such I've been so grateful to have as much coverage as we've had with the book so far, and that's taken
Wonderful.
up a lot, between that and getting the exhibition ready and getting that shipped out and everything. It's been a whirlwind over the last month. And then I teach too. I teach at Swarthmore College. So
Right, you teach art, I
yeah,
believe.
I teach photography at Swarthmore College. So my
Okay.
classes are just starting now. So I have to
So you're a
all
busy
that.
man.
It's been busy.
Yeah, and the book just came out, so
Yeah,
a week ago, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great. We
yeah.
also have a African American museum here in Houston. I don't know if you knew about that.
I
So that's
do. Yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
that's
We have a little African American museum too over in DC. It's just a little small building.
I've heard about that one. Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that one.
yeah, I was thinking about that too. So
Yeah,
um show the cover of the book one more time
yeah,
and just for our audience. So if
yeah,
they want to go out and purchase this beautiful book
yeah,
about Black cowboys,
yeah.
uh,
The
it's
long
called
ride home.
Long Ride Home.
Yeah.
And it's congratulations on
All
releasing.
right. All right. Well, thanks so much for having me. This has been fun. I
Well,
enjoyed
thank
it.
you for being here. We appreciate all you're doing.
Oh,
And I need to get a copy of that book because the pictures are just beautiful.
no,
I'm
thanks.
trying to think of
Thanks.
who to gift it to. That's what in my mind I'm
I'm
thinking
keeping
about.
it.
Yeah.
I have a great night.
All right. You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.